Hello friends, welcome to TMX Adventures. Lisa here. It's been an interesting last overnight since like 4 o'clock yesterday because we haven't actually had internet. Now, who would have thought internet is so incredibly important these days? I wasn't able to get back to people's comments. I wasn't able to send people purchase links to buy. It has been a little crazy. I'd much rather a power outage, I've realized, than an internet outage. And it was both mobile, which was expected. We were told the mobile stuff would go down. That's fine. But it was also the NBN. Somebody accidentally cut a line on the fiber. So anyway, we're finally up and running and I can come to you today. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's unboxing of sparkles. I've got sparkles out. We're going to make these beautiful gluten-free bread rolls today together. And I thought I'd show you as well the yogurt from last night because it came out amazing. Okay, you're also going to see probably later today a video when we had no internet last night. I was still able to cook on the Thermomix guided recipes because I knew that I could, and I actually did a quick little video on my mobile phone. I couldn't send it to you guys. I couldn't share it because I had no internet on my phone or on my home internet, nothing. We actually had to drive nearly half an hour down the road this morning to check the internet, okay? But it's on, finally, thank goodness. We didn't even know how long, it was unexpected. So this though was actually what my 14-year-old made for dinner last night. And I've never seen this recipe and it was amazing. And so we have some leftover palmy balls from, what night did I do that? Monday night. And we're going to put them in here. We've also got leftover. I'm going to bring up the photo for you. Hang on a second. So here we go. This is last night's dinner. Let me show you. This is what it looked like in its assembled form. So you've got meat patties. You've got with melted cheese on top of ours. And then underneath that, and what you can't see is actually this beautiful, you've got guacamole. And then you've got beautiful caramelized onions. You are supposed to have some other onion mix. These are the bread rolls. They're phenomenal. So I thought today, let's make these together. And I'm going to make a double batch because I think there's enough caramelized onion. I think there's enough guacamole. We'll do palmy this morning. Well, this lunchtime. It's midday now. So we'll do that. And then tonight we'll do mince again. And this, I'm excited. So I'm going to do a double batch. So let's do this together. And then I'm going to show you the yogurt as well, which came out phenomenally. Now I'm going to put into the bowl, I could use almonds. I'm going to use sunflowers today. I'm doubling it because I know I can in this case. Oh, too much doubling. So say hi if you're watching on today. What are you making? Let me know what you're making. So in news from Thermomix while I'm doing this, I'm by the way, I want 80 and I just went over and I should have picked the bowl up, but I didn't think it would be that hard. 87 will do. We've got the bundle on when you're buying a TM6. So if you live in Australia, you've been thinking about a Thermomix, now's the time. You can get the amazing TM6 bundle for free with the Thermomix. It's $1,000 worth of free stuff. If you want that details, see my QR code, go over there. On the left side of my website is a thing called Latest News. It has that information in it. If you're an early adopter and you want the TM7, that's different, okay? But if you are, maybe you've got a TM31 or a TM5 and you're like, I want the TM6 with everything you could ever want, that's what you want to do, okay? So 1 minute, now this is not going to take 1 minute to mill this down. It's going to take only probably 5 seconds. Hello, Chris, lovely to see you on. 1 minute, speed 10, it's not going to take that long. 10 seconds is long enough. I don't know why you do a minute with that almonds. I don't think that's necessary. It would nearly start going to a paste. Tells you while that's happening to line a baking tray with paper. Scrape down the sides with a spatula and now we start adding our ingredients. So we've got 1 teaspoon of dried yeast. I'm doubling it, 2. I'm telling you guys that as much as I am telling myself that. Remember to double it. Remember to double it. These gluten-free bread rolls, or the very similar recipe, which is the artisan loaf, they're the closest thing to white bread that I can find. It's fluffy, it's soft, it is sticky to work with. There is no denying that, which, you know, if you cook gluten-free, you're familiar with that. This is 200 grams of gluten-free plain white flour. You can use the cheap gluten-free stuff. I'm just going to get my second packet. Let's grab that over here. Let's see if I've got some scissors in the drawer. My scissors around here just are never where I want them to be. Oh, we've got 6 pairs of scissors, decent scissors. Never where I want them. They just go missing. All right, this was a terrible cut. This was going to make the biggest mess. And I normally blame my children for doing this sort of stuff. All right, we're going to pour through this side and hope for the best. Okay, 400 grams, because I'm doubling it. I want to make a dozen bread rolls, okay? That's what I'm aiming for here, is a dozen. I'm confident with this recipe that it will be pretty close to okay, because it's very similar to the artisan gluten-free loaf. And this is how much, when you double it, it's how much you get for the artisan loaf. I'm a little heavy there, doesn't matter. Some olive oil. Now, do you guys remember, I think I've told you this, how I freeze my eggs when we have excess. Now, today I was going to put in a frozen egg because I presumed this morning, I knew there was 2 left over. This is how they look when they're defrosting. These are still frozen. And I knew that this recipe was going to require the 2. However, by the way, we don't use sparkling mineral water. We just use cold tap water. Okay, I've never bothered with that. So don't go out of your way and spend extra money on something that's not needed. So I freeze them. So I freeze them in silicone muffin molds. And then I pop them out into vacuum seal bags. And I vacuum seal, usually get 8, 10 in here. And then when we want to use them, we just defrost them. And I thought they were defrosted this morning. They're not. So I've actually cracked fresh ones. But I got these out and I was like, oh, I'll use these. And I was like, oh, hang on. And I'm very grateful we've got these because at the moment the chickens are all molting. And so we're not getting as many eggs as we need to feed my hungry children. Okay, so here are fresh eggs from my chickens. One was a green egg and one was a white egg, just in case you're wondering, because I know some of you guys are fascinated by my coloured layers. Okay, some sugar, it's half a tablespoon, so a full tablespoon. I'm just going to put, I've got a teaspoon, okay, so I've just guesstimated. I'm not too worried if it's a little under. It is going to feed the yeast. It is going to make a slightly fluffier loaf, but I don't always do that. Okay, half a tablespoon, so in our case, a tablespoon of xanthan gum. This is our thickening agent in gluten-free cooking. You'll often see xanthan or gar gum used, and it is our thickener. Without it, it's like a pancake mix. With it, it's like a Nellia dough. I'd like to say it's like a cake mix, but it's thicker than that. Okay, so I've got a tablespoon. Hopefully that's enough. Then I've just got 2 more ingredients, I think. I've got baking powder. 1 teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder. They say specifically gluten-free there because not all are always gluten-free. Okay, putting 2 in, doubling it, just in case you're watching on just now. And then some salt. That's important, cuts through the flour. And then we're going to blitz this up. And while this is blitzing up, we are going to have a look at the yogurt, which, by the way, we took to the beach this morning. So with our no internet abilities, I was like, okay, I could SMS, but not consistently. It must be something where the towers, when they don't have internet, they're no longer equipped for a vast number of people using SMS, old-fashioned SMS. So last night it was really hard. I was trying to communicate with some people who were considering buying a Thermomix, and I couldn't send them anything, and the SMS kept bouncing back. So this morning I thought, oh, well, I'd asked my beautiful in-laws, hey, is it just us? Where is this outage? And it looked like down the road was actually half an hour down the road, they would have internet. So we packed up this morning, packed up the kids, went to the beach. They swam and I caught up on the bits and pieces. And then thankfully while we were away, it came back on. But I don't know why I was telling you that. Okay, 5-minute need. While that's happening, let's talk yogurt. And then I'm sure I'll remember why I was telling you that. So last night, you'll remember, we put Sparkles to work making yogurt, and this is what the final product looks like. Now that's why, because we took yogurt to the beach, okay? That's why I was telling you that, with Cater on top. So we took to the beach our beautiful yogurt. I've got 2 containers of it. These are ice cream containers. I don't know that they're in the mix shop anymore. I'm really not sure. They used to be in the Thermomix mix shop. Ready for the fridge. They've got the blades on it, so they were specific to Thermomix, and it is beautiful. It is thick. You can see it's not, I don't want to spill it out, but you can see how thick it is. Like, it's not moving in there, and that's being transferred out of the, obviously the bowl, because it fermented in the bowl. and now put in the fridge, and it's been sitting in there for about 3 hours since we've been out. But beautiful, tasty, a little bit of vanilla, that little bit of sweetness. It's come together really nicely. So love homemade yogurt, a great way to save money and know what's in your food. Alrighty, so next up we need a tray because we're going to take this out. Look at it coming together in there. How good is that? So I've got my large rose gold tray. Now there is a proof time coming up. So in a moment we are going to need to put this out in the sun with a thermo mat over it for probably 20 minutes to just let it get fluffy. Then we'll heat the oven and then these are cook off, and they only cook for 15-20 minutes. It's such a short cook. Something I noticed yesterday when my 14-year-old was making these is they do need a bit of a push down. They kind of rise and cook like pillows. So a little push down is going to make them kind of look more like a bread roll. Oh, by the way, excited for the TM7. You won't hear the TM7 kneading at all. Did anyone else get on the webinar yesterday like I did? Hello, Louise. Okay. Louise, lovely to see you today. Yesterday's webinar was really quite interesting to see the two different meatballs side by side. So yeah, on a TM7, kneading you don't hear. It's silent. You could come up and listen to the bowl and you won't hear it, as opposed to right now you can probably hear it in the background. Maybe my mic is cutting it out. That was something hard to hear yesterday on the webinar because their microphones did cut the sounds out of both blending and stuff like that, which is normal. Microphones tend to do that. The recording of that, I don't think the recording's come out yet. I haven't seen it. So if you haven't got it, neither do I. Okay. So I'm going to do something that doesn't surprise you. I'm going to cut that time short because I actually think it's combined and it's needed. It doesn't matter if you over need gluten-free stuff. I just want to check it's well combined. So now it says tip it out onto a prepared tray and divide into 6 equal sized portions. Use a wet table knife or palette knife to shape them into a roll and smooth the surface. Okay. Let's put you up here and let's put you over here so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm really interested to see when I get the TM7 in 24 days, 25 days, what the cameras are going to be like, because the screen is so flat. I'm wondering if I'm going to have to put another one up here. I'm excited. Okay. You might notice I have a new light up as well so I can see a bit better. Well, more so you can see a bit better. All right, so let's just do a bit of a divvy up here. I'm going to put out what looks like about half and leave the rest in the bowl because I'm going to make 6 out of this half and I use 6 out of the other half, I reckon. That might be a little on the underside of half. Now, as you can see, gluten-free dough, no surprise, tacky. So tacky, but wet hands are your answer. So I'm first going to get something to cut it up with. I love these, but you could use your spatula. You could flour this to try and stop it sticking. It will work, okay? The less you can handle it, the better. But some people do like playing with their dough, and that's okay. So I'm just going to toss it around a bit, and then I'm going to cover that with a bit more stuff. I'm just trying to make 6 equal portions, well, as equal as you can be without weighing them. I'm not a weighing type portion person. You might be. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so now I've got 6 beautiful ones. This is actually working. This is actually, I don't know if you can see that. That's actually happening a lot nicer than I thought it was. This is actually something where I think I'll be able to make into bread rolls without wet hands, just with flour. Woohoo! I love it when that happens. So don't get too, well, you can get particular if you like, but it just gets stickier and messier. So I'm doing that. I don't know if you guys can see. There you go. Putting them about a finger width apart, giving them space to expand. These are going to rise. They have yeast in them. They're going to rise. We are putting them in a warm spot. I'm going to put them on my deck under, so it'll be a thermo mat, and then I'll put a tea towel on top so that any birds that think they're going to have lunch don't realize what's there. Okay, this one looks a little big. I'm just going to take a little bit off this one. Put it with that one. I still have half the mix in the bowl, remember? And I would suggest if you are gluten-free and you like having your own bread rolls, can I suggest to you that you actually make this as a double batch like I have? Because then you've got them ready. You could, once they're proven, you could freeze them for another day. So then you're not making it all the time. You're only getting your hands messy once. So I'm just picking which way I like it best. If you're wondering why I keep tipping it over, I'm like, which way looks best? So this one's a little bit bigger. This will be one of hubby's bread rolls. They are so fluffy though, like just so beautiful. Okay, pushing it together. That was the one I put a little bit extra on. Now I have to get the other half of the dough out and do this again. Okay. Wonder if I could do, so normally with bread rolls I do this. I tuck it under to get a nice top. You can kind of do it. It's kind of working. There you go. Put it up that way. They are a rustic bread roll. I'm not sure if there's a way to make them not rustic. Like you'd have to spend a bit of time with them, and maybe you've got more time in the kitchen than I do. I don't know. Out with the rest. Now remember to get the extra off your blades. Remember to spin it up to speed 10 for a couple of seconds. Get that extra, like half a bread roll out. Okay, best way to get excess out. Just make sure your measuring cup is in before you do that, so that you don't wear it. Okay. This goes out. While I remember as well, there's a fair lot of you who have now bought my Fill the Freezer books, and I'd love to know those of you who have, if you wouldn't mind telling me what you've enjoyed out of it so far. So if you're watching on this video on replay later on, or even on live, I know there's some of you watching on live as well, if you've made something out of it, I'd love to know. What did you enjoy? What have you got? I've got a few in the freezer again now. I think I told you the other day we had used them all and I had to restock. The great thing is when you do need to restock, you can make a batch and split the batch. So one's then dinner right then and there, and the other bit goes away for another day, which I love. Okay, so measuring cup in for a second, push the house key, get out of the recipe. Speed 10, just for a couple of seconds. And just go out to the sides. Waiting for the arms. Okay, just grab the rest out, and you can see there, see how it's shot out to the sides? Okay. If you follow the high blade around your bowl, you'll also take more mix out. If you follow your low blade, then you'll find that you don't get, it gets stuck under that blade. Just a little tip. Remember as well, you have a pre-clean mode on your TM6. You've got one on TM5 too if you've got a cookie and you've been following the updates, sorry. So you can actually clean. I'm just going to put a little more flour on the corner here. Okay, so don't know if you guys can hear, the dog is out at the door chewing on grinding its teeth on a really big bone. Actually, it might not even be a big bone, but it's grinding the bone with its teeth. I hope you guys can't hear that. It's terrible. Okay, let's divide it up. Here we go, up. So yeah, if you're going to freeze these, put them in the freezer and once they're risen. So let them rise first. And then when you go to cook them, you can even cook them from frozen. Okay, because they've already done the rise then. They're the right size. You don't have to wait for that rise to happen. So I'm actually really happy with how this dough is today. Oh, it's getting to, okay, where's that flour? I spoke too soon. Anyone else do that? Oh, that might have been a little excessive. Okay. There we go. That's better. Get the flour on it. You just don't want to flour the bits that are going to end up on the inside. Otherwise you end up with like a line of flour in your dough, in your bread roll. It's really the bits that are on the outside. You want to, the bits you're trying to touch. Okay. So, thermo mat over the top, out in a sunny spot. Probably 20 minutes in a warm spot. These are going to double in size. They're going to look beautiful and lush. And then into a preheated oven. I think it's 180. I did 20 minutes yesterday when my son was doing it. It says 15, but I set it for him, the timer, and I put it on 20 because I thought, oh, I reckon they need that bit longer. So leave that up to you though. Just check them would be my advice. Got a bit much flour on there now, don't I? Oh well, just push it together. So I will show you some photos at the end. Check them out on YouTube tonight. I'll try and get that video up today as well shortly when I get a chance on accessing Cookidoo recipes offline and what that looks like and how you search, that searchability. Because I think it's a skill where, you know, if you are taking your Thermomix on holidays or your internet goes out like ours did unexpectedly, and things like that, then you know that you can still use your Thermomix. You're not then, oh my goodness, how do I get out a saucepan? How do I do this? I don't own a saucepan anymore. So, and it does mean like collections are important. Bookmarking is important. They're the things that the memory of your machine will remember, as well as recently cooked. They're the 3 spaces that your Thermomix retains that information so that you can pull on that again later. Thank you, Chris. I can see Chris has said here she's made the hidden veggie sauce and the creamy garlic sauce, and both were lovely. Oh, I'm so pleased. We love it. Like, I couldn't have done my caravan travels without having that. And even just now when life gets hectic, to have them in the freezer so that you can pull it out, put it in the sink of hot water with your meat, put them all in the Thermi, cook them up, and they're done. Like, just love it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to cover this. Hope you found this video helpful. If I can help you with your Thermomix, give me a call. I love to hear from you. If you want to organize a demo, if you have a TM6, we only have 4 weeks left of TM6 demos before we have to demo on TM7s. So I love to demo with you, whether it's online, in person, depending on where you are, depending on what suits you as well. I have the setup for online, so that's a beautiful thing. If you want to have friends to your home and I can zoom in, we can do that. And it's easy. Well, I should put a clause on that. So long as I have internet, because if that was last night, it wouldn't have worked. But it is the first time we've been here 4 years, I think. First time in 4 years we've not had internet. We've had power outages, but not internet outages. And let me say, power outages are easy. We can negate those. We have generators and we can do that, but we can't do anything if the internet's gone. That's an interesting dilemma. But anyway, guys, have a fantastic day. Take care in all you're doing. Share these videos. If you've got someone around you that has a Thermomix, show them how they can make other things with their Thermomix that maybe they've not considered, and hopefully get confidence and get more out of their Thermomix regardless of what model. But otherwise, take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.